Hi, it's Chris Duff over at Serious Land Capital Vacant Land Funding Partner. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Just got back from a wonderful family celebration at my parents' house. My brother and his longer term girlfriend were visiting from Denver, and they're all enjoying the presence of our 2.5 year old. Very well behaved and so independent and just kind of fun. My wife and I see her every day, so we're a little bit more jaded here and there, but as any parent can relate. But it's really fun to see our family members interact with her and her warming up to them so quickly. And we did like an Easter Bunny treat trail in the morning. My brother and I used to grow up with, and fond memories of that. So it's kind of fun passing down that tradition there. So, days like this, it's nicer when you can kind of step back and just, still enjoy the time with family, a little less engrossment within the technology side, and just still understanding that there's a lot of issues within the economy and how we're going to figure this out on the business side, et cetera, as I talk about routinely, especially recently. So, I was thinking about a quote or a route of thinking when I was in Cancun earlier this year with Coach Trevor McGregor, and something that, thinking about more recently, especially in these market shifts here. And so just getting to the quotes here. Sorry, I was just collecting my thoughts. Forgive me as I sort out a late Sunday afternoon. Back to business and mindset orientation again. Sundays I try to talk a little bit more about mindset. So the quotes here, a few different versions of it. One is, God's rejection is your protection, or in other words, God's delays are not denials. Or another similar one is that God doesn't waste pain. And I know throwing the word God around, like insert whatever term you want to use, higher being, universe, etc. I'm not a religious person, and not Christian in the sense of that, capital G God, but it's a good stand-in for having a firm belief that your trials and pain won't be wasted, and that if you really understand and seek to reflect on those myriad issues that can come up, that's only going to uh, protect you going forward. And understand that it's not a firm rejection of any result that you're looking for in the future. It just might be delayed for some period of time. And taking this into how you actually utilize this, because again, some of these quotes you have to be careful. Like I just the secret type beliefs, like, if you really think hard about what you want, from like God or a universe perspective, like it's going to deliver it to you. I don't believe that. And I don't think there's any evidence behind that. So let me just be clear about that. But it's more setting yourself up to understand that you can have everything you want and desire if you are patient for it, and critically, and you take intelligent and inspired action continuously. That is the absolute crux here, because nothing is done. Or nothing gets done without continuing to take action. I have that tattooed on my arm, which I'll do for another podcast here soon. But that's always kind of the key balance there. Is like, you can't necessarily rush the results. Sometimes we don't necessarily get to choose the circumstances that we're put in, or that we're born into, or that we deal with, but we can all choose to adapt to what those circumstances are and take that, again, intelligent and inspired action in order to reach those results that we desire, and having the requisite patience to stick with the plan. So I've been thinking about that a lot more again recently because, within this market, as I've remarked a number of times over the past few weeks, we're more on the defense. I'm trying to fire sale a lot of our portfolio. We're not nearly as aggressive in terms of acquisitions the way we're starting this year. I'm like, man, we're just on, like a 4x top line multiplier growth trajectory from, like last year to this year. And we had already hit, 3 mil top line last year, which was 3x the previous year before that. So it's just like, okay, we're like really tracking for significant growth and better profit margins, etc. Like, let's just keep this ball rolling. And to now have to, intelligently, in our opinion, like, okay, be willing to step back and consider, okay, we need to be really careful in this market here. We're not, like, the numbers are the numbers, right? Like, it's more important to stay in this business profitably for the long term versus continuing to try to reach just for the sake of reaching, where your chance of blowing up is considerably higher. And so, then I have to remind myself, like, all of these metrics and goals sometimes are just arbitrary, and the delay that we might be experiencing in terms of, like, unlimited growth and just realizing our ambition and so forth, like, that's not necessarily a denial that we're experiencing here. It's simply a delay, and we think it's an intelligent, self-induced delay in relation to what we perceive market dynamics to be. And sometimes, you can also feel like, I'm kind of rejected here as well too, because now I'm not even reaching what I perceive to be my own goals even 3 or 4 weeks ago. But again, we're also protecting ourselves for the long-term vision and future of this business. So again, God's rejection is your protection. God's delays are not denials, and God doesn't waste pain. Again, insert whatever phrasing you want for God there. It's just an easy stand-in. So that's been on my mind a lot over the past few weeks here. And I think another one that fits into this is that Ray Dalio quote about pain plus reflection equals profits. So it's similar sentiment and meaning behind that quote as well too. And that's another one I thought a lot about when I lost millions of dollars in late 2021 through most of 2022, just train wreck to my net worth. That there was a ton of pain, ton of reflection, and now my net worth is not back to what those numbers were prior to losing all of that, but I'm on a way more sustainable path, and feeling much more secure and strong about the trajectory that I'm on now. And it's just, we're continuing to reap in profits accordingly. All of that goes to say is that, like, the proper mix of, again, patience, with, again, I quote, intelligent and inspired action. Credit to Coach T about this. That will get you anything you want in life. Absolutely anything. So just understand that no one has their ducks in order right now. In contact with some folks with very, very high levels of access politically, financially, and so forth. Like, everybody is running around with their heads cut off a little bit here. So, like, understand that you're not the only one, and we're all trying to navigate this economy together, and take in the data as it comes in on a day-by-day basis, so we can continue to take the requisite actions to initially stabilize, if you need to survive, and then turn that into thriving within the new set of circumstances. That's the pathway to follow. And so long as you continue to stay focused in that regard, your success will come. With that, if you are looking for funding, seriousland.capital, looking forward to reviewing more deals tomorrow after the holiday. Sorry, I was a little bit backtracking today again. Sometimes when I record these in the late afternoon, especially on the weekend, to collect my thoughts a little bit. But yeah, I'm re-ramping up for this coming week, another big week here. Excited to get into it. Land Daily Diligence Facebook group, zero cost review of your land deals. We just hit 900 members earlier this week. Very excited that our value is continuing to be recognized by the land community, and want to continue to deliver on that. And then landpricer.ai for the most simple and accurate way to price land. It's getting even some more positive feedback about that here over the past few days. I'm excited to deliver on the 2.0 version of that ASAP. Subscribe and share if you haven't already. Take care. Bye.